Let's assume your listing agent is representing you as a single agent, including the duties of loyalty, obedience, confidentiality, and full disclosure. As you know, dual single agency representation is illegal in Florida. So your listing agent would have to downgrade your representation and act as a transaction broker for you and the buyer, as long as you agree to it. Would you be concerned now that your agent is no longer fully representing you, but making a lot more money? You see, your agent has to make the buyer happy too. Is there a risk of your listing agent using confidential information you shared while protected by the single agency to help the buyer negotiate a contract? Is it fair for you, the seller, to start with a complete form of representation and end up with a lesser level of representation while your agent, who is no longer fully representing you, is also representing the buyer and double-siding the commission? Even if you started with a transaction broker form of representation, aren't you already compensating your agent with a pre-negotiated listing side of the commission? This commission is there to pay your agent to properly market your property and help you sell, which includes attracting buyers. You see, some listing agents out there will try to fool you by telling you that it is only fair for them to get the full buyer's agent side of the commission because they have to do double the work. Well, let's take a closer look and see why this is a little lie. Number one, your listing agent did not produce any extra efforts to get the buyers. The buyers came as the result of the marketing plan the agent agreed to implement when you hired them in exchange for the listing side of the commission. Number two, if the buyers came directly to buy your property, did your agent do all the time-consuming and sometimes frustrating tasks of a buyer's agent, like scheduling and driving around town, showing multiple properties, and dealing with writing offers to other sellers? Probably not. Even if your agent did help the buyers with other properties, why is that your problem to pay them? Shouldn't the buyers they helped pay them? Number three, the only additional effort your listing agent will have is maybe meeting with the buyers for offer preparation, some additional paperwork, attending inspections, and addressing any transaction-specific issues. From my experience, this additional effort is so much less than what they have to do as the listing agent. Actually, it always feels like winning the jackpot when an agent gets both sides of the commission. It's like free money. I have to warn you of some slick agents who might tell you something like this. You know, I could take these buyers elsewhere and sell them another property and earn more commission. So I think it's only fair that I get the full buyer side of the commission. They will try to scare you into believing that unless you pay them what they want, they could take the buyers elsewhere. Doesn't this sound like blackmail? Another slick argument some agents might use is, if the buyers had their own agent, you, the seller, would still have to pay the full buyer side of the commission. Look, let's be fair here and say that in principle, it is okay for the listing agent to make more money to help the buyers, but you should have to approve it. I have seen some sellers prohibiting their listing agent from representing a buyer for their property to maintain their single agency relationship. I have also seen some listing agents use tricks to sabotage buyers' agents in the hopes that a buyer would eventually come directly to them so they could get both sides of the commission. Some of the tricks include making showings difficult or impossible, not responding to questions from buyers' agents, and even sometimes lying to buyers' agents by telling them, "We are expecting an offer today," or "We have offers on this property," when it is not true.